So you're writing a book and you want to put mystery in it. I've come up with 3 different levels of mysteries. So the first one is the low tier mystery. This is like your basic whodunit kind of mystery, you know. Is usually used to build a surface amount of intrigue. And so when you present this mystery to your audience, it's usually close to the beginning and can be used as like a hook. You know, people will keep reading something to try to figure out what this mystery is. And so it can be used as a hook and to intrigue your audience. And that is the main pro of this low tier mystery, is to build that intrigue. Now you have to keep in mind that with the surface level mystery is that it only builds intrigue for a short amount of time, and it won't keep your readers reading for long periods. It'll give you a window, and in that window, that's when you really need to like establish your characters and your story and your world, and get your readers to care about those things, because those are the things that are going to keep them reading the rest of the story. But the surface level mystery will give them enough intrigue, and it'll give you a window where you can establish those in that window. I mean, this is your basic whodunit. It can also, instead of being a whodunit, it can be perhaps a character's motivations. Maybe, you know, their motivation for killing someone or betraying someone, or, you know, their motivation for whatever it is they're doing. And you keep their motivations a secret. Like I said, this builds intrigue for a short amount of time. And so you've got to establish your story in that time to keep your readers reading. And this reveal, there's a precise point to put your reveal. And because, you know, there are mysteries that lead up to the surface level mystery. And there are all these clues and everything. And your audience should be able to guess it to a degree. It shouldn't be too terribly hard to guess or figure out. And that can be actually used in the benefit, because not all mysteries are used for twists. And sometimes the best part about a mystery is being able to see the clues and actually being able to guess it correctly. And so that's where the surface level mystery really thrives, in being at the point where you can guess it. Because as much as amazing as it is to have a mystery no one can guess, even though there's clues, like it's just such a good and complicated mystery, no one can solve it, you know, that sometimes it's not as exciting, because part of a mystery is being able to guess it and giving your audience clues so that they can look at the clues and try to figure it out. That is part of the thrill of a mystery. And then once it's finally revealed and the audience was right, that gives them a boost. You know, that gives them this surge that'll want to make them keep reading. It's exciting to guess a mystery. You know, you feel smart and clever. And so sometimes it's good to have a mystery that's a little bit more easy to guess. And that's where the surface level mystery really thrives. Now, I do think there's a technique to use here. Even though it's kind of easier to guess, and you use that to your advantage. And so you kind of drag the reveal out longer. There's a point. You can drag it too far, but you drag it out to where the audience sees the clues, they guess it. You know, perhaps they'll guess it correctly. And but because the reveal is dragged out, they get to a point where they'll start second guessing themselves. Like, okay, am I sure about this? Am I sure? And they'll start second guessing themselves, and they might go back like, oh no, like it was nothing. You know, I'm wrong. And that's kind of the point you want to take them to. And then just after that point, that's when you want to reveal it, when they're second guessing themselves. You don't want to wait too long though, because if you wait too long, you know, by the time you reveal it, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, you know, the audience forgets about it. Usually, I think a good place to reveal this mystery is like in the first installment of a series or something. You know, you set it up at the very beginning, and by the end of that installment, like you reveal it. You know, if it's a TV show, it'll be revealed by the end of the first season. You know, if it's a book series, it'll be revealed by the end of the first book. And, you know, not necessarily, you don't like, this isn't science to a T. Whatever's best for your story, if it's best to reveal it like way later or way sooner, go ahead. But I think just in general, that it's kind of best to reveal it kind of toward the end of that first installment. A good example of this is the Ascendant series in A False Prince. I don't want to spoil the book too much. It's a good book, you should read it. But basically, there's a character named Sage, and he's recruited by this guy to train to become this prince that is believed to be dead. That's basically the essence of the story. And well, as you're reading, I feel like this is one of it's a surface level mystery where you're kind of like suspecting of it, and you come to a point where, you know, you guess it, but it is revealed just after you think. So like you start second guessing yourself, but then it reveals it, and it's really satisfying. If you haven't read the book, it's called The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Highly recommend. It's a good book. So then that takes us to our mid-tier mystery. And I think the best way to describe this mid-tier mystery is like a plot twist. Often this mid-tier will be a plot twist, some kind of plot twist. But of course, there'll still be like foreshadowing, of course. Foreshadowing is the key to this one. So this mid-tier is often used to create shock and, change up the story. I think the best example of this mid-tier mystery is in Star Wars, in An Empire Strikes Back, when Darth Vader reveals to Luke that he is Luke's father. And it's just so good because it comes as a plot twist, because no one really saw it coming. So when Vader reveals that he's Luke's father, everyone's shocked. And that's how you want to use this. You want to use it to create shock. As the last one, you kind of want it to be more on the guessable side. This one should be hard to guess. And I'll get into why it's hard to guess and how to, make it hard to guess. But then, the Vader scene comes as a plot twist, and it shakes up the whole story, because previously it was good versus evil, but now the bad guy is actually Luke's father, and it creates a really interesting direction for the last movie. And often, this will come at, the 2/3 mark about the story, because you need enough time to foreshadow it and like not know what it is, but then once it's revealed, you need a significant amount of time to explore the world, now knowing that plot twist. And so, like I said, the key to this mid-tier mystery is foreshadowing, but it's a bit different than a traditional mystery, because the foreshadowing this, you want plenty of it, but you want to present it in such a way that the audience doesn't know that there's a mystery there. So as the low-tier mystery, you present the foreshadowing as like a question mark, as a question. It's like, there's obviously something here, the audience is aware of that. But with this mid-tier mystery, you present the foreshadowing as a statement. You put a period on the end. You don't pretend like there's anything there. You present it as a statement instead of a question. Back to Star Wars, great example of this, because there is plenty of foreshadowing to Vader being Luke's father. It's just not presented as a question mark. And the foreshadowing comes as in A New Hope, when Luke asks about his father to Obi-Wan, and just the information we get about Luke's father, about, Anakin was an amazing star pilot, he was a Jedi Knight, he was a good friend, and just learning about Anakin and his character, and that is the foreshadow. But of course, it's not presented as, maybe he's still alive, it's just presented as, he was a cool guy, he's dead now, but it's just so reoccurring about Luke's father and Anakin that works as the foreshadowing. And so it's a bit more of a delicate art, because you really just have to nail presenting it in that statement format versus a question format. And yeah, that's the trickiest part about this one, is formatting it in that way. So now that brings us to our high tier, our S tier mystery. This one is kind of like a combination of the two. And oftentimes the low tier mystery can kind of lead up into this S tier mystery. So the main thing to remember with this high tier mystery is it's overarching. That's the best word I could use to describe it. And it's usually overarching throughout the entire narrative. If it's a book series, from book 1 to the last book. If it's a TV show, like a whole series. It's very overarching. And because of this overarching nature, it's pretty impossible to have more than one of these in a franchise. You're pretty limited to one, but it's very powerful. And when it comes as a plot twist, but it's presented where the audience knows there's something there. It's just so big and so overarching that it's harder to guess. The easiest way to talk about these is going to be with examples. So a good example of this overarching S tier mystery is Gravity Falls. Now in Gravity Falls, it's pretty obvious, there's something there, like who wrote the journals. It's pretty obvious that there's something there, and there's quite a bit of mystery. And once it's finally revealed, it comes as a plot twist, but it's not super easy to guess, because the plot twist is, Grunkle Stan has a twin brother that was lost in another dimension, and he's the one that wrote the journals. And it's not a character that we already knew. It would have been too, for how much it was set up, if it was a character that we knew, it wouldn't have been as satisfying, just because the characters we knew. If you've seen Gravity Falls, if it ended up being the old man, I don't remember his name, it would have been disappointing, and he probably would have been the best candidate that we know. And so having it be Grunkle Stan's twin brother was satisfying, and because it's hard to guess, but it's also, there's enough foreshadowing there to make it work. But the key I said is overarching, and it's pretty overarching throughout the whole story about who wrote the journals, and it has a big part to do with the story and like Bill Cipher and the end of the season. But it's also revealed where there's enough time to kind of live after the plot twist. And I said before, oftentimes the lower tier mystery can build into this overarching narrative. In Gravity Falls, for example, the low tier mystery would be Grunkle Stan, what's in the basement, what's behind the vending machine. You know, it's introduced in the very first episode, like normal. And that's a low tier mystery. And then once you kind of figure that out, it kind of builds and leads into this overarching high tier narrative. But then when the high tier mystery is revealed, it comes as a plot twist and it twists the story and puts it in a cool new direction, like the mid tier mystery. And so that's why I say it's like a combination of those two. And so, and also with the Gravity Falls example, a good part is some people will guess it. And I think that's a key thing to remember. Some people will guess this high tier mystery. And that's natural. But majority of your audience won't. Like in Gravity Falls, you know, some people guess that, oh, Grunkle Stan has a twin brother. Some people guess that. But I think the majority of like casual fans and stuff, you know, it came as a shock. But those hardcore fans are going to be able to guess it. And that's a good thing. You know, there should be ample of clues and foreshadowing that they should be able to guess it. And I think that's when you know you've done a good job, that your hardcore fans are able to guess it, but the more casual it comes as a surprise. I think that's when you know you did a good job integrating it. I'm going to list one more example for this high tier mystery, that is Attack on Titan. You know, for those of you who've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The overarching high tier mystery through the show, it's present throughout the whole show, and there's some lower tier mysteries that kind of lead into it. But like the whole show, you have these questions like where'd the Titans come from, how'd the walls get built, and you know, then there are other things that lead into that, like the Titan shifters and everything. And then it creates intrigue. That's like the low level mystery doing its work. It creates intrigue for this, and it keep on watching because you want answers. You know there's something big going on and all this. And then finally it's revealed at the end of season 3, and it completely changes the entire story, and it comes as a plot twist. And you know, it came at the end of the 3rd season. Like I said, the 3/4 mark of the entire franchise is like the best place to do this, because you have all that mystery, you have all that build up, you have all that intrigue, but then now you still have a good portion to explore the plot in this new direction. And so in Attack on Titan's case, you have all of season 4 to explore this plot twist and this new world and explore Marley and all this. And so those are the 3 levels of mystery. The low tier one is like your basic whodunit, is like, that's how I like to remember it. And then your mid tier is like the plot twist, and then your high tier, your S tier, is your overarching mystery that kind of is a combination of the two. Each have their uses, each have their place, and if used correctly, they can really enhance your story. I actually use all 3 of these in the book I'm writing, that I'm almost finished with. I'll let you know once it's published, but I use all 3 of them, and I thought I had to share these. I thought it was some good tips, some good advice, you know. So I figured I'd share them. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to watch some of my other videos. I have plenty of book reviews. I'm currently reading Game of Thrones. And with that, that's the end of the video. Hope I'll see you in my next one.